Hello, there's that beautiful backdrop again. How are you doing?
Hi everybody. Can you hear me okay? Well, this
Everybody
okay.
on the chat, can you guys hear it great?
All right, wonderful. So here we are. I'm sitting. Here we are in beautiful downtown Phoenix, in our Voice America Studios conference room. To be in the conference room because we have live shows going on now in the studio. So I had our guys bring in a light, and I got my little webcam set up. And usually us producers are behind the scenes in the editing rooms, and we don't get out much. So thanks, Mary, for inviting me on.
Thank you. We're so excited to have
you.
you.
Really express my gratitude, appreciation. This is fun. I get to talk to people all over the world, but it's good to be in on your event, which I think is really, from what I've seen of it so far, it's really spectacular, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, tell us, because I've just been so impressed. I was so grateful for you. Like I said, it was a spray and pray. You got back to me. And then when I looked into your background, I was so impressed and honored. I would just love for everyone on the call, I want them to understand what you've done, because you really are a major player when it comes to media, just with the strength of your expertise over the last 25 years.
Well, yeah, this is my third industry that I've been in showbiz. And then to me, the internet is showbiz, so I kind of classify it that way. I started out straight out of college working as a writer at NBC Television in Burbank, and was fortunate enough to get in the door and work with a lot of pretty funny guys. I used to write spec scripts for a lot of big names and work on kind of, round table for make this funnier, that kind of a thing. And then I got into shooting and editing and worked in special effects and worked in film restoration. And sometimes I had a side job as a print inspector. I did stuff for American Film Institute. And then I kind of got a little soured on the Hollywood scene just because I kind of had a bit of a spiritual awakening, let's put it that way. And I met my wife, we were dating then. And then I moved to Virginia. I worked for corporate communications and video, and also for the U.S. State Department. I put on their first online video branch, and then worked in the kind of for early internet before YouTube and Google and all that. There was whole internet there. People don't realize that for news, because the news organizations were communicating through it. And then got working for CBS. I used to write the front page news for AOL. And then from there, I found Voice America, which is actually right here in Phoenix. And I didn't know. I was listening to them just as a listener. And I said, I wonder where those studios are. And I looked, and it was like almost down the street from my house. And I went, well, I'm going to go over there. And within days, they said, we want you to come work with us. And I said, great. And I've been here ever since 2005. And I've worked with a lot of major stars, like John Gray and DeMartini and Joe Dispenza and Eckhart Tolle, and on and on and on. And it's been a lot of fun, because when you do things that are pioneering, that have never been done before, it's pretty exciting. Then you watch media kind of come together in the explosion of YouTube and Facebook and social media and everything else. And it's taking, it's funny when you start in an industry and then you see it just develop. It's a really cool experience. And today, with webinars like this all over the world, people can be learning things and educating. And it's really, really exciting. Digital media is just exploding, especially on the radio side, because of the advent of podcasting. So, there's nowhere to go but up. And I'll just close by saying, even with all this technology and everything, it's still two things that really matter that'll never change, which is people connecting to people.
Yes.
And the power of your story. So
yes.
You do a pitch, all the bells and whistles and all the fancies, that doesn't matter. People want to know what your story is, and they want to connect to that story, and they're eager to connect to that story. That's how people build huge followings. That's
so true. And I think, I have up on the screen now too, all of the different shows that you have. And I think, I'd love to hear from the comments from those on the call now, which, when you're hearing Randall say that about your story, I think that's so powerful and so true. Which of those shows, or either these or other ones that are live now, or maybe that were archived, which ones did you guys really find? For those of you who did the research, I know all of our VIP adapters, our early adapters already did. Which of those shows did you guys find to be the ones that you really were excited to connect with? I know, yeah. Oh, The Power to Create Yourself, Pam. Yeah, that's a good one. The radio show from Lisa Lutan, Busy, Stressed, and Food Obsessed. Yes. Wow, all of them. Wow, you guys have, and that's the thing, Randall. I think that's the power of radio too, is that it gives them an opportunity and a platform to really just tell their story, like you said, and connect with people, because that's really at the end of the day what PR is all about. But it's so neat too to see this sort of fusion, as you mentioned. I mean, I'm always teaching people the integration now between, you have to really understand foundationally earned media to then build upon, bridging the gap between paid, owned, earned, and social media. So it's really exciting to have you here. I'm going to dive in. We're going to go over some stuff and explain the 10 weeks program. And then Randall and I are actually going to be working with all of you guys to help with your pitch, and you'll actually get to pitch him live. So I don't know if you can see the chat, Randall, but everybody has been filling it up with some of the shows that they researched that they're excited to pitch you on, and so excited that we're gonna get a chance. I have to look
over here because my screen is over there.
Yeah. And that's a trick, Randall and I both have been working broadcast for a long time. It's funny.
My line is.
Yeah, when you're looking at actually the person that you're talking to, sometimes it doesn't look like you are, and that's one of the tactics and trainings we go through and teach people. For webinars, it's not as important, but you can see Randall's a real pro because he's looking at the screen, and we'll forgive you, Randall. If you look to the side, we will know that you're actually looking at us. And
I can see it right there.
But yeah, just excited, and Voice America really reaches so many people. Like overall listener breakdown, 25 million people, but just on some of the
it's about 3 million people a month.
Yeah.
So now there's probably, if I went and looked, there's probably about 80 to 100,000 people that are listening to shows right now live. So
that's amazing. Yeah, no, and when you look at the annual, like the cumulative, when you sent me the package with some of your guys' statistics, that breakdown.
Yeah, that's our media kit.
Yes, the media kit with just, with all of those numbers. It's so impressive because you guys really are the leader. And the nice thing too is that all of your shows then go to they get pushed to podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher. So it's earned media, but then it's also kind of amplifying and recycling. And, I think all of that is really so key and so important. So excited to have you here. And I'll jump into just sharing a little bit about the program. Many of you have already enrolled and joined into either the 10 Weeks to Media Mentions course, or you've joined our PR influencers community either on Facebook or by going through the 10 weeks or 5 days to Media Mentions trainings. And so, one of the things that you'll hear us do, and like I asked Randall to do to introduce himself, is this is PR. So PR, self-promotion, is encouraged and promoted as long as you're always paying it forward, because you really do have to understand that, if you're not telling your story well, probably no one else is going to be telling your story well. So we really want to equip you with the skills to not only tell your story well, but understand how and where to do that in a meaningful way that really can make a difference and help you to scale your business. So we invite you to really be interactive in the Facebook group. And if you haven't already, add a friend. A lot of this too is some of you need probably or want more accountability than others. A lot of you, it's been amazing. You guys don't need any accountability. You just jump right in. You want those media wins and you go after them, and you've gotten them. So that's been really exciting to see, and we want to see even more of that as we continue to go forward. And especially because I think the most exciting thing for me to see is to see all of you pay it forward. So like I know Jemiah saw a post on Haro that she thought, and Haro is Help a Reporter Out for any of you that are not familiar already. She thought another member of the group who she's never met other than in the group would be perfect for, and so she sent it to her. And Christine Hansen, who she sent it to, who's a sleep coach and trainer in Luxembourg, and mind you, Jemiah's in South Korea, she got the media opportunity as a result of Jemiah paying it forward and doing that for her. So we're going to hear from Jemiah in a minute. We heard from Donna Brown last week, but all of you, there's so many of you. If I took time just for all of you that have already adopted into the course to shout you out, we would just be here for like 8 hours because you guys all have amazing stories. So 10 Weeks to Media Mentions That Convert, I really am excited about as a program, because you guys, have just understood that in some cases you really don't know what you don't know, but if you learn just the basics, the foundational principles, some of these things that Randall and I were sharing with you, that this 10-week online training program, for those of you that join early, you wind up getting a much longer time frame than that. But it's really an online publicity masterclass that's designed to help you really scale and raise your influence, and just leverage media mentions, because anyone who has had media mentions alone probably knows that that is not enough to make a difference in your business. So, you can spend a lot of time, trying to chase down media mentions. I'd love to know too in the chat, how many of you guys have had experience where you've actually landed media mentions? And I know, those of you in the course probably it's cheating, but Kenya, yes, hi, and I think you're new to our tribe, so welcome. Good to have you here. And I think that one of the things that we really help, and actually a workshop that we're adding to anyone who's already in VIP and anyone who joins today, is how to hack Haro for strategic business growth. Now that's just one way, right? But there are so many ways, so let me ask you this. So many of you have had media mentions. I love that. How many of you have had media mentions that have strategically really scaled your business? Have you guys and I'd love to hear too from a mix of those that are maybe in the course that now see the path forward and are setting those funnels in place, versus maybe those who've just had media mentions and didn't see it make a difference in their business. Hi, Marie, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Oh, awesome. Meg, yes, you see one article contribute your business. And Meg signed up for our VIP circle last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, before we even had launched any of this stuff that we're doing now. So, I know Meg was an early adopter because she saw the value in this, and because she had seen media mentions already triple her business. Awesome. Yes, see, not a lot of benefit, Jennifer. And I think I looking at the electronic credit card processing and what you guys do. I think really the key is not just media mentions, but understanding how you turn media mentions into business growth. And so that's really what we help you with. I love that there's a huge variety of this that you guys have all experienced that you're weighing in on in the comments. And I think, what Jemiah shared with me earlier this week, after we had our first VIP pre-publicity masterclass, was that she thought that this was a course that really helps you jump to the next level. So no matter what level you're at, if you've never done television, if you've never done radio, if you've never, had the experience to really get media mentions, or maybe you have, but you really haven't powered it up in a way where it's made a difference in your business. Or maybe you have, but you really don't yet feel comfortable going on camera, and you don't have the confidence, and you don't understand all of the nuanced things that you can and should be doing. That's really what this course is designed to help, whatever level you're at, so that you can jump to the next level. So we're really excited to be able to, to just provide that for you guys. And I will share with you that, once you really learn the secrets to pitching the media, and that's what we'll teach, you will be able to raise your influence and just share your message with a broader audience. And again, it's not just about getting your message out there. And that's why we called the course 10 Weeks to Media Mentions That Convert. So what that convert means, that's in digital marketing and in sales, that's a popular word. But that means, actual paying clients. That means actually moving people to action. So that means not just having somebody see or hear your name in the ether and then it never turns into anything. But, a good example is Richard in our course. He, one of the funnels that I have set up is actually Haro. I use Haro as a funnel. And so it's great because it's a 2-for-1 for me. And that's the case study that for those of you who join live on today's call, eventually it'll be a paid bonus that we will offer. But if anybody who joins while this webinar is going on, and we might give you an hour after in case you're having tech issues, but anybody who joins during the webinar will actually get that free in addition to everyone who's in our VIP. Because once you understand how to do that, you can really scale and leverage your growth and use publicity combined with the tactics that we'll go over to really just do amazing things in your business. So that's what I'm excited to share more about with you guys today. And I love just seeing you guys all having major wins. One of the things that is so exciting is that when you really get your story out there, you will be amazed at the type of opportunities that you have to turn down just because, or scale quickly. And that's kind of what we've been going through now with this course. So it's exciting that you guys are all excited about this. I'm excited to answer your questions. And I'd love to know, before I go on, do you guys have questions about the 10 weeks course, about the program? Anybody have questions about 10 weeks and just the course itself? We're going to ask one of the students in the course to sort of give us a spotlight session in a moment. But before we jump to that, would love to know, anybody in the chat have any questions that we can answer just about the program. And while you guys are putting any of those comments in the chat, I just want to give a shout out and thank you to my team, because, you know, when we talk about using publicity to scale, it's been tremendous. It's been amazing, and it's been fast and furious. And certainly without the help of all of these beautiful women you see on the screen, we would not be here today. So I want to just say a tremendous, huge thank you to them. And then also to my business partner, my husband, who's not featured here. You know, they've been working like crazy. You've all been working like crazy, getting media missions. They've been working like crazy, responding to all the new opportunities that have been coming in, because we've been using publicity to power this launch. Thank you, Donna. You're amazing, and I appreciate that. And without further ado, I would actually like to bring up one of our star students, all of you, I guess. I would honestly, all of you are star students, but really have just loved seeing Jemiah just continue to land awesome, awesome media opportunities. She's getting ready to launch a whole TEDx speaker talk training, and she is an educator, a teacher. She has so many things going on, and yet she has found the time to really implement publicity in her own work in a way that it's making a difference already in her business. So I'm excited to bring her on so that she can share a little bit more about the work that she does, and then also just her experience with the program. And without further ado, Jemiah, let me make sure I can get you up on here. Let's see. Here we are. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Hello. How are you? Let me start my own video back on. All right. How's it going?
Okay, can you hear me? I'm great. Thank you for having me, everyone. I'm Jemiah Drummond Bay.
And so tell us, Jemiah, a little bit more about just what you do, because I feel like you have so much going on in different areas. What's your story? Tell us, you know, Randall mentioned it's all about the story. Tell us your story.
Yeah, so my story as an educator actually began as a Peace Corps volunteer in Turkmenistan. And there, it was actually illegal for me to teach English because it's a post-Soviet country. So there were KGB following me, threatening me. And I basically snuck children and taught them English. And we changed our locations every day, sometimes twice a day, to help them to get visas to flee the country. And it was there that I realized, actually, I was going to attend med school, but I changed my plans because I felt like education was even more powerful than the path that I was on at the time. So from there, I became who I am now, a global educator. I've taught in 13 countries so far as a curriculum designer. Basically, I go in and I reorganize learning spaces, make them more fun, more results driven, and also train the teachers. And that's why I decided to join this course. When I would travel to different countries, and although I became quite famous in Korea and Japan as a curriculum designer, I always felt alone. And I thought, well, how powerful am I if I'm the only person who has to go to all of these different countries and create the curriculum? I need to create some sort of team or movement. So I noticed that a lot of the educators felt stuck. And they felt like they couldn't think abundantly because they lived in areas of lack, which is all around the world. Educators are, they aren't paid as much, you know, they give and give and give, and there's a lack mentality. And when you think about that, when you think in lack, you have limited ideas, and then how can you inspire someone to think big and think in endless possibilities if you feel so small, right? Yeah. So that's where I am now.
There's abundance, absolutely.
Right, exactly. And I believe that thinking in abundance is more than just money. It's about growth. It's about opportunity. It's about love. It's about creativity. And so now when, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I have this water bottle, right? And on this water bottle, you can see I have like my desired feelings.
I love that.
I do things like this, where I take something like a water bottle, where you can find in Africa, which I'll be training teachers and Maasai warriors in Africa next month. And so I take something like this, and I teach the educators, when you feel like you're you're at a low vibration point or you feel stuck, then just write your core desired feelings on a water bottle. And then when you drink your water, you feel like you're being replenished. So little tools like that is what I do now to create a space for educators to be able to support the students who are learning.
I love that. Thank you. And the work you do is so amazing. And it's funny because, you know, you have such a colorful, amazing, you know, interesting story. And I think, you know, I love that the students in our course and in this program have this like diverse, huge range. Like, right, one of the things we talked about in the 5 days course, and Christine highlighted, is, you know, she is amazing also, and she has these amazing stories, but she didn't think she had an interesting story. I think your story is one that, like, it's immediately like very interesting. It's like, you know, when I talk about going through Afghanistan and teaching children with Laura Logan and being shot out of the sky by a helicopter, people are like, oh, but my story would never be that interesting. But it's like, I think for you, and even for me, it's like, I don't think my story is that interesting. It's understanding how you tell your story.
Right.
Makes it interesting, right? And I
think
the
passion behind it.
And exactly, the passion behind it. And I think you are very, very good at bringing those elements together and then seeking out those opportunities and communicating that very well. So thank you for sharing your story. And thank you also because you went through our 5 days course. You were a star student.
Twice.
You got media mentions on like the second day. And then we had the scholarship contest where we were saying like, okay, you know, if you want to go ahead, you know, if people who share it, you know, can have these opportunities to win spots and get all this. And so you like shared it ridiculously. You shared it with everyone that you knew. And because you believed, like, it wasn't an affiliate program, like, you shared it. And that scholarship now is open. People can go again to prinfluencers.com/contest. And so you actually, your spot, you know, you came in as a first place winner through that, and then upgraded to the VIP level. So I think you're an amazing example, one, that like we really are giving out scholarships to this course. It can make a huge difference. But I'd love to hear from you, because thank you. You did a Facebook Live in the group earlier this week that I just loved. You posted a Facebook message that I was just like so grateful for. But how do you know, for you, why do this? Why spend the time on the PR? Like, why is it a priority for your business?
So I would also like to highlight, because I know that this is a global challenge and there are people from all over the world. And usually, because I'm based in South Korea right now, people, especially publicists, don't know what to do with me at all. Because here, marketing is so different. It's via word of mouth, and it's more about face-to-face relationships and what moms say to each other. However, the way that you teach your course, the way that you have us to connect with people authentically and really connect with people and research and find out about that person, it's the same in South Korea. It's the same in Japan. And this is the first time I've been able to say that. And so if anyone is watching this and they're wondering, oh, I don't know if this will work for my business, me being an educator, traveling every month to sometimes huts and teaching, and then being in South Korea, if it can work for me, it can work for absolutely anyone. And so that was one of the things I wanted to highlight about your course, because it's something that I often question when I'm looking at someone to represent me or help me with media mentions. And then another thing is that there are so many courses for me, because I'm so busy, that I feel like take me away from the work. They take me away from my passion. And so, you know, most of them say, well, if you want media mentions or if you want to connect, you need to fill out these worksheets. You need to figure out who your ideal client is, or you need to like 200 posts on Instagram, you know, and say the same thing over and over. And then I remember doing those things and feeling so distraught, because I love what I do so much. And I don't want to be away from what I do. I want to do what I do. And so with this, I get to not only do what I do, but I'm talking about what I do. And I'm actually kind of introverted, but it's my passion. And so I'm learning to not only build as I climb, but do it in a way that feels good. And that's great.
I love that. And I love watching you shine, because you've just been like exploding and continuing to explode. And just even, I know some of the opportunities you still have right now are continuing in development, but knowing a little bit more about that, I'm just so excited for you and for everything that you have on the horizon to explode. So thank you for sharing your story. And, you know, thank you for just showing up and being, you know, just like the first day that we launched the course, you know, it was like to know that you, had those successes is what helped us to just continue to propel forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And anyone, if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'm quite active in the group, so tag me.
Thank you. And I think, Jemiah, you are just like the perfect example, though, of somebody, I love, and what you even, I think, helped me with is you said that two things last week that really resonated. One was the jump that, you told me that, anybody right after we had the VIP circles, that somebody can jump from whatever level they are kind of to the next level.
Yes.
And that really was my goal, is like, I want to make it so that PR for people, it's not just, something that you have to have, $5,000, $10,000 a month on retainer to have someone do for you. But really that, we're helping people to tell their stories. So that's kind of what we are aiming to do. And I really, I'll go over kind of these course details before we go into the pitch. This is the VIP circle is where many of the ladies have joined. Many others have joined into the course only option. So I'm happy to answer any questions. If you guys have comments, questions about, what the different options are. I've just been amazed by the women that are in the program. Like, I cannot tell you enough. And I'm looking for our slides. I don't see, we have a slide here that we did. Maybe it went away. We have a slide here with all of you, and I'm looking for it, that I don't see it. So I guess we sent it out in the email today too. But all of you that are in our VIP circle have this amazing, amazing stories. And so for those of you, what we're doing that want to join VIP, today's the last day to join the VIP circle, because I want to keep it small enough that we can really invest the type of time, like the type of resources and time we're giving to those that are in the VIP circle rivals what we give to the clients on our one-on-one division. So it's really unprecedented in the PR industry, because even I had a client last week that tried to hire us for $10,000 a month, and I turned her down. And she said, well, can I try you out? And I said, no, you don't do tryout retainers. If we were taking on new people right now, it would have to be from a 6-month minimum. And so they wanted to do that with us. We said no, because we are so committed to this, and we really see this intentionally as showing up where we want to be. And it's funny, because the more we do this, and I tell people like, no, you don't need to hire a publicist, you can do it yourself, the more business I get on the one-on-one side of people begging us to take them on as clients, because they see what we can do in terms of spinning the publicity. I've driven more than 1 billion impressions to campaigns, the big and little campaigns that I've worked on over the years. And ultimately, the strategies and tactics that you use to really, cannibalize and capitalize the news cycle are the same. So bye, Marie, we'll miss you. Good to see you. Glad that you could join us. But, if you understand how the news media works, and you understand that no matter what, Randall always has shows to fill. So it doesn't matter if, their programming, especially for radio, their programming is going 24 hours a day. So they always have to fill a show. So if you have an interesting story, that content beast, even if there's not, a terrorist attack going on, even if no one was shot, there's local, national, international, radio, podcasts. There's so much content. There's so much space. There's so much opportunity for you to get out there and tell your story. But you don't want to just throw a rock into Niagara Falls. A big part of what you have to do to be successful is really understand how you then use content amplification and a lot of the other tools and techniques that we give you in the 10 weeks training to really make a difference in your business in a meaningful way. And this is our pilot course, the 10 weeks course. Ultimately, we want to, as part of publicity, one of the things that we really teach people to do is how to be disruptive. So it's disruptive for us to come in and offer like really ridiculously $15,000 worth of PR services with the brand folder and all of the other stuff in the VIP circle for the initial discount price of 67% off, the $997. We don't even advertise, like we literally can't even use the numbers. I made the decision not to use it because we at Harvard, I was doing a residency at a graduate level, and last month at Harvard, when we did the case study and they actually tallied up the full value of everything people get at the VIP level, they said, hey, we get that, like this is amazing, but you can't tell people the actual value in your marketing materials online because no one will believe it. Like our scam triggers will go off. And so like we don't even tell you guys like how much in the marketing, how much value you're getting in PR services because Just we're not wired to believe that. But the reason we're doing it is because it's disruptive. So because it's disruptive, it's newsworthy. And then that's why you see me all over the news talking about it. So it helps aid our whole, how we scale, how the business grows, everything else. And that's really, I wrote an article that got really shared widely and kind of went viral on Entrepreneur Magazine last year, called The Scale Up Secrets of 7-Figure Entrepreneurs. And secret number 2 is publicity, because there's nothing that can supercharge your funnels like publicity. You can pay a lot, you can choose. I had to make some intentional decisions for this, launch is, do we invest in paid advertising? I have a friend, Sam Evans, who's amazing. He's brilliant. We interviewed him in the 5-day course. Sam spends $35,000 a day on Facebook ads. His annual revenue is $25 million a year, and he's comfortable with those numbers being shared. That's his strategy. That's his approach. For me, I like to use earned media, which is free, other than hiring a publicist, or learning how to use those skills yourself so you can save yourself the money on the paid Facebook ads. I will tell you, we will occasionally use, I'll use $20, $30 in Twitter ads to boost something, or I'll test something out and do $100 ads at Facebook campaigns. But I don't really like spending a ton of money on paid advertising. I much rather use publicity and use earned media to scale, because it usually gives me a better opportunity to tell the story in a way that's much more powerful, that helps me to connect with the ideal clients that I'm wanting to connect with. And I think for a lot of you, you've kind of gone past the, how many of you guys, feel like getting earned media attention is out of your comfort zone? Do you feel like, and for those of you that have been in the course already, have you guys, I'd love to see in the chat, have you guys felt like you've gone out of your comfort zone in the course, and how has that felt? I know Wendy this week, it was really neat and wonderful to watch her kind of go, out of her comfort zone, but then feel really comfortable. How has that felt? And have you felt that going out of your comfort zone has helped you to kind of get to that next level? Awesome. Yes, by pitching today, that's awesome, Teresa. And Donna, yes, I've seen you go out of your comfort zone and just be amazing. And Pam, yeah. So yeah, see that, and that's the thing. I think for those, and all of you that are weighing in are ones that are already in the course, I think almost. And so for those of you, that are thinking about it, that's really, it's not that difficult when you have the help and you have us by your side. So that's really what we're trying to do, is sort of empower you. When I first decided to launch the company about almost a year and a half ago, and started just doing research and talking to people about what they wanted and deciding if we were going to, how we were going to invest and to diversify in terms of having one-on-one clients versus doing this model, on both sides, the number one thing I was so amazed and surprised by that people, were wanting me to help them with. And this is after, literally, I had done a year where I think in one quarter I did $3 million in AVE off of one campaign. So we had one really huge campaign that we did publicity for. It generated $3 million in advertising equivalency value. And so all these people that were coming to me based on that, and they were like, we just want you to help us not be afraid. And I was like, do you understand what I can do? Do you understand the millions I can help you make, and you want me to help you not be afraid? But sure, we can start with that. So I think the key is that's the stopping point for so many people in business. If you're afraid, then you're not going to ever get there. You're not going to get to the next step. So you do have to understand how to push yourself past your comfort zone. And the nice thing is you don't have to do it alone. That's really what I'm hearing, in the course, all of the support of the women in the community. And I say women because right now it's all women that have joined up to the program. But it's these 3 barriers. It's mindset, it's the confidence, having the mindset to really step past it. It's not having the knowledge. And when you don't have the knowledge, then it makes sense that you don't have the confidence, because you could have a misstep. And that's why this model is really one that we are excited about, because it helps you to get the knowledge. And then finally the implementation, because I think, for not all of you, Jemiah is a really perfect example of someone who she has figured out the implementation. I think, for some, it requires maybe help of a virtual assistant. Donna, she's figured out that the implementation. She brought on her virtual assistant, and she has her virtual assistant going through the course in the VIP circle with her, so that Natalie can, you don't want to have to learn something. Demi's another one who's the same. You don't have to learn something and then turn around and teach it to someone else right away. So being able to make sure that, implementation is not a barrier is something we thought of when we were thinking of how can we make sure that the students in this course are as successful as possible. So definitely, if that's something that is an issue for you and you're busy, then we have things in place that you can actually bring a virtual assistant on, add that person on for only $300 right now. And they can go through the course with you, and we can have them, doing the implementation. They can learn it from me, and then they can be doing that on your behalf, and it can be as simple as some of the things that we advise is, once you define your outcome goals, we'll help you create that PR strategy, create that PR roadmap, and then have them doing the tactics to really implement that for you. So that is one of the things that I think we're really excited about, is just understanding, where were the areas that people had challenges, and so how could we help to address that? And I'd love to hear from you guys, from those of you who have not already bought into the program. What are your barriers? What is the thing that you feel like, is it the mindset, is it the knowledge, or is it the implementation? When it comes to your earned media and to PR, kind of what is it for you and your business that's, I think all of us have these things that in our minds, in our business, we come to a stopping point. I know for me, it's the like file analytics, organizational type things. That's where I'm weak. You tell me to go live on camera, and I'm no problem. But if I have to go through file organization or do some of those type of things, then for me, I know that I need to bring in an outside source to help me with implementation. So I think, recognizing that. Leslie, yes, all three. So recognizing that, and then letting us, I think, for you, and we've connected on, your story and kind of where you could use a lot of these, like the brand folder, just having the brand folder as a place where you can have stuff is something that can be very, very powerful for you as a new business owner. And then Sarah, yes, for you, I think Sarah does amazing work and helps people with their posture and really connects. She's one of the members in the National Association of Women's Business Owners here in the Bay Area in San Francisco, where I live. But yes, knowledge and implementation, I think, are huge. And I think once you have the knowledge, then a lot of the other stuff is much easier to get over. And that's really, though, I think through this course where we're helping to kind of hold your hand and get you over it. And then Yuri, yes, implementation. And that's where I think for those of you, that's where we have the virtual assistant option, because I think that really can help you to get past those things. Thank you, Natalie. I'm glad to see you're on. And see, Natalie is here. Natalie is Donna's virtual assistant. And having that support, I think, can be tremendous, so that you really can create the systems that'll make a difference in your business. Because there really are, these are the different types of PR solutions that you could look to help you. Word of mouth, I hear, a lot of times from business owners, and we get this, ourselves. I just believe in PR, so we use PR. But, you word of mouth, when you're really good at what you do, you don't have to have all, funnels and all of this other stuff. You might not even know what a funnel is, because you're good at your business and people just refer people to you, and you get a ton of word of mouth. And I always like to say for those people, it's kind of like, right, but imagine if you're that good, imagine how much more your business would explode, and things could explode for you, both on the business side and just for having a greater impact and making a greater impact in the world with the causes and ideas that you're passionate about, if you were to supercharge it with a bit of PR. And so I think that's also just that word a lot of people get confused about. They think that like being on Facebook is PR, and it's not. Social media is an important, integral part of any PR plan in this day and age. So absolutely, you need to be on social media. But yes, Tora, a funnel is not all powerful. Some people, many businesses survive and do very, very well without having any funnels in place. But when you think about, how effective you want to be with using publicity to really power up your business, and then understanding how you need to make sure you, though, have this sort of marketing things in place to capture the beneficial outcome of all of the new business that publicity can attract. That's where I think connecting some of the dots is what, once you know a lot of the simple techniques, you can do it. Because my thing too is about making it simple. I hate to overcomplicate things. I think what I do in general, it's easy to overcomplicate things. But then I always like to, in business, take a step back and say, okay, but wait, how can we simplify this before we execute? Because the last thing you want to do, you want to scale it. And so we give you the techniques to implement it and make it simple. Figure out what your goals are and make it simple. But so, different solutions cost different price points, right? So the done for you services, we offer them in our one-on-one business. Like I said, lately we've turned down a lot of business, and people are not happy with me on the one-on-one side. They're not turned down. Although in PR, you can get away with that because people like you when you're exclusive. So, the fact that we'll say, sorry, we're not taking anybody because we right now, we really are getting that many requests. best. It just makes it that much better for us when down the line we do go back to, eventually adding on new one-on-one clients to the roster. The reason we do it is because, we are really committed to our reviews. I'm so honored by all of you. So many of you have given 5-star reviews on the Facebook page or on the Thinkific page. I'm so, so grateful for all of you that did that, especially because it was a labor of love for us to do that huge media course for free. But I think that, when you look at the reviews, that is so, so critical and so important, right? So for me, I will never take on more clients in our one-on-one agency than we can really, really, do a great job with, because I've talked to too many clients who have hired other publicists, and whether they were paying them $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month, especially at that $3,000 to $5,000 a month, there's too many people I've spoken to that said, oh, well, I just wasn't happy with the outcome. I felt like the publicists really, they had other clients that were more important than me, and those were the clients that they prioritized. And so I spent a lot of money, but I didn't really get results. So that can happen with Done For You services, and I never want my name or my agency to be associated with that, which is why with one-on-one clients, we turn it down if we're, when we're focused on other things, or once our roster is too full. And right now we have both combinations. Our roster is very full on the one-on-one side, and we also have the launch right now for 10 weeks to media mentions. And so that kind of leads into the Done For You. And what we're eventually going to offer are subscription models, but what we wanted to do is really work with you guys one-on-one in a more, even though it's a group program, this is kind of the opportunity for you guys to really understand how Done For You services work. I would love to hear from the women in the group. It's not a one-on-one program, so I'm not giving you one-on-one advice, but I'd love to hear this. I'm not paying them. They don't, for those of you that are already in the program, have you been happy with the level of kind of just like the feedback and the interaction and just the attention that you've gotten from me in the group? Because that's really the difference right now of what's ending today. So that's sort of this VIP circle, this VIP that's going away, that is only available to the people who signed up today, because in order to power that, it's unprecedented that we would offer this type of discount and deal for people on this type of PR services. And thank you all. Thank you guys. I'm glad. And I'm glad that I'm not just, like I said, I'm not paying you guys to say that. So thank you for saying that and having that experience and being amazing. You guys have all been amazing to work with. None of you are overly demanding. It's not a one-on-one program, but you send, I give you feedback. I help, you guys to be successful with telling your story. And that's really the goal of this program, is to empower you with the information, the advice, the contacts to really, be successful with your story. So with that, I think Randall and I are going to go into a few best practices for the pitch. And then since Jemiah is already up, we'll let her go first after Randall and I go over these best practice pitches. And then we can get the women in our 10 weeks course. This picture is from our first VIP pre-course masterclass that we hold now every Tuesday. And so where we meet on Zoom, and basically you guys, I went behind the scenes into my Haro account, show you guys different things, answer your questions. But Randall, I'd love to hear from you. I've been talking for a long time. You have, you and I have talked a lot about pitching and just best practices. What are yours? What are some, they're getting ready to pitch you. What are your advice? They know what my advice is.
Okay. Well, the first thing is your energy level. If you remember the old movie about Bob Fosse when he goes, "It's showtime, folks." So when you're on, and you could be just sitting there on camera, and when that camera's on you, it's your energy that you're holding in your, I would say, field of consciousness. So that energy that you have there, you could be just sitting there, and but it's, what are you vibrating? That when you look at the camera, you want to look right at that camera and connect with that audience, and you want to smile and have a poise and have sit up straight, of course, and all that. Mm-hmm. So that's part of what is bringing that energy level. When an actor and that camera goes on, they could be doing whatever. When that camera's on, they're on, and that's the first thing I would say is when you pitch, you want to be focused, but you also want to have your vibration kind of up at that level where you feel good. And sometimes, we're going through all sorts of things in life, but when that camera's on, you've got to forget all that and you're on. So the energy level is the first important thing that I would say to anyone who's starting a pitch.
I love that. I love that. That's so true. And that's so important. And you guys, now, Randall, what is your preference for people to follow up? Are you going to be picking the, some of the shows I know are ones that you produce, some are not. Do you want people to pitch you on LinkedIn? What's the best way? I know they'll pitch you, on camera now here, but then for those that you're interested in, how do you want to handle that?
Well, you can always get in touch with me by email. That's the first thing.
Okay, and we'll get your email.
Yeah, my email is I have my website, which is just my name, randalllibero.com, and on contact, my email is right there. My phone numbers are there.
Perfect.
So that's the easiest way. If you forget where it is, just remember my name. It's RANDALLLIBERO. Go there, and there's a contact page. And
right.
you can invite through Facebook or LinkedIn. That's fine too. But I'll give you a few tips as far as shows. So Voice America is a network, and we have there's about 5 other people like me, senior producers, and then we have a staff of about 8 or 10 other executive producers, because we have over 300 programs. I mean, I work with about 20, 25 shows at any one given time. So and we have a guest database that we look at, that we share, and all the other stuff. So if I see somebody that might be good for another show that I don't produce, I've got to get it to them. So the first thing is, do your homework. Go on our site, look at shows which fit your message that you have, and you want to know what those shows are. Then you could ask me. I'd say, here, I found this show, and I'll tell you, hey, that's my show, or it's this other producer. I'll give you their name. You can get in touch with them. Or if you want to, all of our shows have a showcase page for their show on Voice America. There's a button there that says email host, and that email goes directly to them. You can send them a message. So that's another easy way, or go to their websites, or go to their social media touch points. So you connect to me or that show's host, go to them directly. So that's another way you can approach this. But it's good to kind of know people on the inside. As you know, show business has layers. Okay, so you've got to get through the gate and that kind of a thing. But I'm happy to get you in touch with anybody, and I get probably about 20 to 25 email pitches a day through email. So sending me an email is okay. I always look at it. But of course, if you do something in writing, it's not the same as if you're talking to somebody.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, with that, I'm going to pull up our pitch slide here and print you guys. We'll get more. What I'd like to have folks do, if everyone we're going to have Jamia go first, and then if others can please raise your hand if you want to be on deck, then I'll be getting you queued up. And the way we'll run it is that the women in the course already, so anyone who's already enrolled, you guys have the option. If you'd like to go first, then you'll get to go first, and then everyone hopefully will have a chance to go today. We have it set so that you have 45 seconds, Cha, and part of that is about brevity and being concise with your pitch and having that great energy Randall mentioned. Cha is going to have the timer, so when you hear the beeper go off, that's your cue to cut it off. Randall and I will each give you either or both. Definitely Randall, and I'll add to it if there's anything that, but he'll probably cover it all. But we'll keep our feedback concise so we can get through everybody. And yeah, make sure you mention what show you're pitching yourself for when you introduce yourself to Randall, and then go jump into your story. And Randall, any other final tips for folks before we let him take it away?
Just go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think, let's see, let me go ahead and unmute you, my darling. And our first.
Mary.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Will the timer start count after they have introduced themselves and talk about which show, or when they start talking, it start counting?
Let's see in the chat. What do you guys say in the chat? How do you guys want us to do the timer? Do you want us to, I know what you guys are going to say. Do you want us to,
when they start. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we'll do it when they start. So go ahead.
Okay.
And Jamia, you can take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. So.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear. I can see.
Okay,
go ahead.
great. Randall, I would love to commend you first for the way that you support women. I saw that you were live at the California Women's Conference, and I think that's amazing. As an educator, I never ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? I ask, what problem do you want to solve in the world? Because I believe in thinking abundantly, and that's what I like to inspire other teachers to do and show them how to raise the vibration in the classroom. So I think I would be great for leading conversations with Cheryl Esposito, because I know that she believes in healing the past to accelerate the future, and I believe that we are so connected in that idea, and I would love to have that opportunity.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. That's it. Okay.
Good.
That was good. And I think, you know, when you have the student spotlight too, when it's your week for that, you kind of have already shared your stories. So
Everything.
you kind of, yeah, you kind of already, you already know. But I do love your energy, and I'll defer to Randall for any thoughts or feedback that he has.
Yeah. I like that you started with, this is my purpose, you know, as that, in other words, that's what you represent. Because one of the secrets of doing a pitch is knowing that what you stand for. So say, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm about as a person. That defines you as far as I can understand from that, even if it's just a couple of lines, what that larger picture looks like. And the way that you bring that across, the way that you say that, really defines how strongly you feel. And because the producer's hearing, how passionate are you about that purpose? Are you seriously committed? So that's the tone of your voice. And you were very upbeat, you were very energetic about that. You knew what show you wanted, you knew the title of the show, you knew the host. So all that, having done your homework, is important as well. So that was a good pitch.
Great job.
Wow.
All right, well, we'll move right along. I will see, let's see, I see Shamanth is on. Hi, Shamanth, how are you? Hi, everybody who's joining on camera. Hi, all of you guys. Wow, there's so many beautiful faces. Okay, so we'll go through the women that I mentioned that they know they're lined up to go first. So those of you that are in the program, if you want to raise your hand when you're ready, and then we can go through the ones in the program first and just kind of move right along. Shamanth, Teresa, do you guys want to go first, or Wendy, Meg? Let me know if any of you guys are ready to go, or if you'd rather wait till the end, then that's fine too. Just let me know. I know.
Sure, happy to go. I mean, whatever works.
Okay, we'll start with you.
Am I on?
Yes, and as soon as Shaw can sort of start it so that you guys don't feel like, you know, you're waiting for her to start. We'll just, when we tell you guys that it's your turn, then Shaw will know to kind of maybe start the timer once you say your name. So then we'll take it from there.
Yep. Okay. Hi, Randall. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Shamanth, and I also love the fact that you have so many programs centered on women. As someone who helps women relaunch their careers after an extended career break, I really connected with some of your programs, namely Empowering Women and Transforming Lives by Rebecca Hall-Greiter and Career Confidant by Maria Zamenhof. Fear, anxiety, and self-doubt are real for women who are looking to return to work after an extended career break, and it's something that I experienced myself after taking a 5-year career break and wanting to go back into a high-powered city job. And I went through lots of challenges, and that's what I'm helping women kind of go through, that transformative journey through practical steps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Shamanth.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, good job. I liked your energy. I think that, you know, I had given you the feedback too earlier on that. I love that you connected with the empowerment for the show, and that you connected too with Randall, their purpose of having that show. Would you agree, Randall?
Yes, it's good. You mentioned a couple of programs. I'm just, you know, hastily scribbling notes here. But Shamanth, I like that you started off with offering a compliment, and sometimes that's a good technique to use with the producer, is that they can tell that you've done your homework, you know the network, you've looked at programs, so that's something that speaks to them that you've done that. So the other thing is I could tell you were a little nervous, and you did talk about what your focus is as a professional. That was the next good thing that you did. The only critical part that I would say is wrapping up with something that is definitive at the end. You mentioned first part was your compliment, the second part was your what you're about, and the third part it would be the why. So the why is, this is why I'm a good guest for that show, because I offer this, that program's about this subject, and I offer this, and there's a connection. So the third part should be whatever your why is that makes that connection to that radio show that you're pitching.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, I did miss that because of my timing, but thank you.
Yeah, forget about the clock. That's one thing you have to ignore in media is you never think about the clock. You're always you're always prepared, so you never have to think about the clock. That's the idea of pitching.
Yes, and I think too, and Randall mentioned this, it's very different pitching, on email versus, this, but then one thing you can do, and like Randall said, there's these sort of like levels of separation, is then now you can follow up and say, hey, I pitched you, I met you, even though I was all the way in the UK and you were all the way in Arizona, and Mary was in California, and we had people all over the world. So you can also, then when you in your follow-up pitch, you can pull from this experience, or then pull from something, maybe Randall said something to you that helped you now. And so you can tell him when you respond to him, hey, that one piece of thing that you told me about, that one nugget about this really has made a difference for me in this way. And then that's even more so in the future going to help you to connect, that will stand out in the sea of 25 emails he might get from that day from other people trying to pitch him on a show. That might stand out. So that's definitely, great job. And I think, thank you, Randall, for that feedback. So,
yeah, but Shamanth, your energy was really good. Mm-hmm. That was good.
Yeah, you did a great job. All right. Who would like to go next? You guys can raise your hands or put it in the chat. Meg, Teresa, we have Wendy, lined up. Donna, you guys. Do we?
Mary, can you hear me? It's Teresa.
Yes, now I can. Hi, Teresa.
Okay, fantastic. I'll go.
Awesome.
Hi, Teresa. We already said hi on social media.
Hi, yes. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Well, first, Randall, thank you so much for meeting with us today. I was more enlightened by your philosophy, vision of entertainment. And I think that is so important in corporate America. And I come from that. And my passion is making the environment a better place to work. And I really see you're involved a lot in those production of some of those shows. And I think I come from out of the corporate America because it wasn't a happy place to be. And I think if you look at statistics, 51% of people are unhappy. And my whole goal and passion is to be a producer, as you're a producer, but in corporate America, helping CEOs have that influence. And I really want to have the essence of influence in the corporate ecosystem.
Nice.
Nice. I love it.
Very good. And you did under the timer.
Yeah.
It's good. I thought that, Teresa, it's very good. I heard what you're about. You had a little bit of a story in there as far as your background, which is good. You dropped that line or two in there, which let me to know what motivated you to do what you're doing now. So that was good. You had, you seemed very relaxed talking about yourself, which is also good.
Thank you.
And you know who you want to reach, the CEOs, the influencers, the people of that nature. So I would think when you tell me that, I think of what shows are in that area. Well, one of our new channels is called the Influencers Channel. It's a new channel which is actually starting next month.
Okay.
We're building it now. So it's
okay.
So those are people who have they have followings. Some of them have followings in the millions. So they're coming on our network, a whole channel of all these very highly influential people. So those are going to be great people to try to pitch on their show. I'm working right now with Clarissa Burt. You can look Clarissa B-U-R-T up. She's an international model and actress. And one show I'm working on, and that show's called the Beauty Cast. So kind of the good thing about it is that if you like shows, you can connect with them, follow them get updates like on iTunes or subscribe to Voice America. We have our own app. And of course, communicate with the producers. The best way is to communicate with us is directly. So if you want to get on the business channel on a show that has a CEO, then know who that host is. You can send me an email, find out who that host is, or just do your research on that. But I like that you were very concise. You knew what you wanted to say. You look right at the camera, and I understood there was the story and your background, your purpose, and the people you wanted to reach, and that was all in that concise pitch. So that was very good.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and Teresa, I love your story. I think too you connect. I love the statistics and how you added in. The 50% of people are unhappy. Like when you talk about disruption and the disruptive stat. One thing that I think is hugely powerful, and maybe you said it and I just missed it because we have a lot going on. I'm also like doing the tech stuff on something. But you are the president of the National Association of Women's Business Owners, and I think that for me, one of the tidbits I had given to Jamia this morning was that she's done a lot. When you talk, I think the co-citation, when you have done work or have alignments with large brands or large companies that you've powered and given your sort of brilliance too. I know you've done that. You do that for NABO. And so NABO is an organization that people either know it or they don't. But even if they don't know it, if they don't know NABO as an acronym, if you say that I'm president of the National Association of Women's Business Owners, that carries a lot of clout and a lot of weight. And so you're brilliant with or without that, right? That but I think by saying that with people when it's brand new and you kind of like, I hate name dropping, but when you do that, I do that all the time. I say I was a field anchor for the Honolulu Today Show. I was worked at NBC, or I'll say depending on the audience I'm trying to reach, I'll say I was a senior spokesperson for the federal government, handling in Hurricane Sandy. I did the Good Morning America Today Show interview with, blah, blah, blah. So, but saying just those quick nuggets, it gives somebody an opportunity to paint that picture in their mind. And then all of a sudden they see you in a new light when you're brand new to their world. So I loved your pitch.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Mary. Giving your credentials gives you prestige to the person you're speaking to.
Yeah.
So as soon as you give them some kind of credential background that they can understand what it is, don't be vague or give an organization they wouldn't have heard of. You want to express that directly, because as soon as you say something like that, people start to think about you differently. Because in media, it's all about perception. That's really, when you're in front of the camera or you're connecting with someone, is that you want to give them the perception of the authenticity about your real background. So telling your story is good, but adding a little bit of, not name dropping of who you know, who you work with necessarily, unless it's really important.
Sure.
But you also want to give, say, I'm the president of this organization, and maybe what that organization represents, or so forth. So offering that as just a single line to say, this is what I do, not making a big involved thing out of it. You want to be kind of conservative about it, say this is what I do, but you want to express it with pride. That's the other thing, is how you say it and the tone of your voice. If you say, well, I'm the president of an organization or whatever, it's like, that matters. That matters.
Yeah.
You want to speak about yourself with, I would say, sort of, what's the word I use? As a professional courtesy. You're wanting that person to connect with you and understand you, and you're courteously offering that in a very kind of relaxed, very straightforward manner.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Randall. And I think that's one of the things that we do and Teresa, we'll do this in the advanced course, because you're already in the advanced course. Is give you the templates, because I think Randall also points out a really good point, which is that especially as women, I think we have this. It can be challenging, because you have this thing of like, oh no, but self-promotion is bad. I don't want to be self-promotional. I don't want people to think that I'm too egotistical. And so it is a really delicate balance. And what we'll work with you guys through in the advanced training is that balance of how do you say it, like Randall said, where you're still first adding value, like we taught you guys to do in 5 days, but then that you're actually doing it in a way where it's just a nugget, and you're not, it's making them see you in that different light, effectively, without having it just be like, oh, here's a 12-page list of everything I've ever done. Here's my CV, you know. So I think it is a delicate balance. But no, I love what Randall added there, and thank you. I think I loved your pitch, loved your energy. I think you'd make a great guest on that show. So
Thank you.
awesome. Who is next? I think Wendy said she wanted to go next. Is that okay? We have Wendy on deck. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Randall. I love Voice America. Such a gold mine. I can't wait to binge listen and very excited to share it with my tribe. I love your mission of using media consciously to change lives and really resonate with your message that everyone is a producer. I enjoy listening to Making Life Brighter with Winifred Adams because as a holistic nutritionist and healer, it's my mission to help people live consciously and discover their inner radiance. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to achieving vibrant health and vitality. This is why I help people create a customized, sustainable wellness system that aligns with their inner and outer ecosystem to unify and deeply connect their mind, body, and soul. I believe this is a new paradigm, and I'd love to share with your audience and how they can create a wellness blueprint that is unique to them.
Nice, under the time.
Good. Good.
I love it. And I'll let Randall round it up, but I'll just jump in first because I've seen you just jump. When we talk about people that jump, last week, Wendy, you know, we make it so that everyone that's enrolled in the course already has the chance to go first because, you know, you guys, this is an enrollment call where we're explaining the program, but we also are giving people a flavor, an example, just really honestly a small example of what you get when you're enrolled in the online publicity training as the VIP package. But when you last week, Wendy, you know, you were like, I'm not going to go. Like, I'm here. I know I have that. I know I have the right to go first, but you had already enrolled in the course and you were like, but I'm not ready. I'm a little bit nervous. And so for me, just in 1 week, in literally 1 week and a half, to see you be, you know, I was telling Randall before, I said, some people are more comfortable turning on their camera, not turning on their camera. And either way, you can really learn a lot and gain a lot and jump to the next level wherever you're at now. But for me, it's been amazing to see you, like listening to your pitch, even just improve over the last 3 Fridays on the enrollment calls. Before we even started the VIP training on Tuesday, which has been amazing, your delivery has just like, by leaps and bounds, and your confidence by leaps and bounds, I can see. So congratulations. I loved your pitch. And I'm really excited to see you continue to grow and just improve your on camera, because that's really an advance. You've moved from like beginner to advanced in a very record amount of time.
Good. Okay. Well, Wendy, thanks for mentioning Winifred's show. I really, I could tell you lots of stories about her show. She's wonderful. I like that you had a beginning, middle, and an end to your pitch. I like that you it went on a track where I can understand where you started, what you're about, and then also the part of that is what you feel passionate about. And that was all in there.
Thank you.
Were right on. The only thing I would say, because I can tell by watching your eye line, is you're looking at, you probably have it over here. Yeah. I would say over here, and you're kind of reading some of the lines. Yeah. When you do something on camera, you have to be prepared enough not to read it. You have to be it.
Okay.
So, and people see that. They see if you're reading, like if I went and read, this is what this is, and and I'm reading, the tone of my voice tells you that I'm reading it. Mm-hmm. So I can tell that when you're more monotone, you're reading what's on there and you're not feeling it. So just like an actor delivering his or her lines is, you have to feel it. You have to be what you represent. I think Samantha did a good job with that, and Teresa did a good job with that. They just spoke.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a skill that you guys have to develop.
It takes time to learn that. It's not going to happen, but the more that you know who you are and what you do, you feel it. You are that person.
Yeah, but I think you need the confidence first, and that's why, you know, the Tuesday calls, one of the things that we're doing in the Tuesday calls is the pitch. And that's actually why we're not just cutting it off today to be mean. I don't just want to be mean to those of you that aren't already on the inside. The reason we're cutting it off today and no one else can join up to the VIP after today is because doing this, and this is what you guys get a taste of, on Tuesdays right now with the pre-publicity classes and the trainings, this is exactly what we're doing. So for those of you in the class, we go on, we pick a different, and I'll go through later and show you what the different workshops we have identified already, plus the new one we just added. But one is just a perfecter pitch session. So instead of having, you know, a guest, instead of us talking about the program, we just take time to let you reflect, pitch, and have all of our feedback. And then just like this session, you guys will have, for those of you that are in the training, this session goes into the vault and you can go back and look at it. Because the one other thing, it's great to have criticism, critique, you know, constructive criticism from others, but ultimately for me, like, I'm always my own worst critic. So I'll notice things that I do on camera, and even after years of being on camera, like Randall's entirely right. The reading is one thing that if you're doing it, or and especially even now with webcams and where your eyes are and all of that, there's so many things you have to think of. And the only way to get better at it is to do it. And so that's why we deliver it on Zoom and give you guys the option to actually see, what am I looking at? Like right now, I'm not looking at you, right? It looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm not. And that's why on these webinars, I am focused, so I'm generally not, I'm not in my on-camera mode. But these are things that we teach you, is like knowing the difference, knowing the eye line, knowing a lot of these things, these nuanced things, is on the Tuesday classes when we're actually, you know, in the training, what we go through. Because Randall's right, you're not gonna learn it overnight, but having seen you 3 weeks ago, having seen you last week sit there and be like, no, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet. And then you went and you were so meek, and to see you come out of your shell today and deliver it like to this level, honestly, like that's a lot of improvement in a very short amount of time. So congratulations. Awesome. All right, who do we have next? Who wants to go? Let's see, we have Meg.
Sure.
Hi, Meg, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, nice
to see you. Talk in person.
Yeah.
Great. Hi, Randall. How are you?
Hi, Meg.
Thank you both. Am I going? I'm ready.
Yeah.
My name is Meg Donahue, and I own a company called Mama Says, and we're a whole food, plant-based meal delivery company. And Randall, one of the things that you said that really struck me is that you had a type of spiritual awakening that altered your life, and you decided, I'm going to do things differently. And I guess this could be the same thing that happened to me. About 5 years ago, my mom was in hospice care. She had 10% heart function. I had a big background in organic food. My partner owned a very large organic food bakery. We were the private label bakers for Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. So we knew that world. My mom's in hospice care, 10% heart function, dying. And I Googled who has survived this. And what I found is that somebody who was eating a whole food plant-based diet has survived it. And so we want to bring that message to people because it's powerful. People do not have to die. Food is killing them. They can heal. Was that my timer?
That was, but as you know, because it's connected to the emotion, no one would dare shut you down.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I would have kept on going. Your story's so powerful. I would have kept on going.
We got to hear the end of the story. That's.
So I can tell you briefly because it does matter. And one of the other thing that you said is that it has to matter. You know, I'm over 50. We looked at our life and we said, what do we want to do with the second half, hopefully? And and in our offices it says because it matters. And when we realized half of the country is dying from this, either heart disease, diabetes, or obesity, and they're preventable. They're foodborne illnesses. There's science on this. And we went and we said, look, there's a lot of woo-woo out there. Let's get the science, make the food that's built on that. So we started working with Cornell. We got the science behind it. And we know plant operation, we know delivery, we know distribution. And we said, we can put these two things together. My mom is 86 now. She was 80 in hospice care. She's 86. She swims 4 times a week. She drives. We were at Dartmouth Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in New England. And they are saying, their cardiologists are like, what are you doing? She says, I'm vegan. I'm like, well, sort of, Ma, you're plant-based. But she's thriving. She is thriving, and we can document it, 10%, and now her heart function is nearly normal. The only thing, 2 things that changed. Whole food, plant-based diet changed, and that is profound. anybody can do it. The other thing, which is what we are trying to do by getting me out in the media and building a community, is she was connected to her family again and her community. And that underlying love is what, those two things together. You have to give your body the things so it can thrive, but you also need that underlying of love. And how do you make those connections? And so that's what we are trying to do in this company. The food we're getting, we know that part. We've got a fantastic plant. We have a fantastic distribution system, FedEx, and we also do our own delivery. But also, how do you reconnect with people, with their own families? And that's why the multi-generational show that you have, the sandwich generation, which is me. You know, I have a little daughter and I have my mom. And what's happened? Why are people so disconnected? Why are they not feeling that? And
so I love all of this, Meg. I'm gonna jump in because the thing that now is gonna be my job.
Okay, sorry.
You are one of our VIPs. So now I know I have my work cut out for me with helping you to tell this amazing story in just a more condensed form. Right? So I think you have an amazing story. I love, one of the ways that you connected is the science. So I think right when the timer went off, you were in the money. I think you got enough of it there to where we were already like, wow. And then I would say maybe the next 10 seconds you need to get someone's attention, but you don't want to give them, like, if you fire hose, especially in the media, if you give them everything, two things will happen. One, they'll just be like, I'm really busy. I'm producing a show like right now.
Go away.
So I just can't talk to you. Or, you will have, it's almost like with a sale, right? Sometimes, and early on in my career, I was a financial advisor, securities, a long time ago. And I remember like one of the early principles in sales that I learned is like, you can lose a sale by continuing to sell after you already have the yes, right? So it was like, for me with your pitch, your story is amazing. You've done this amazing like research, you were inspired, you're passionate about it. It all came together. Your mom, like you were connected to emotion. There's so many different things. But then, I think you had the yes, but then you kept going with the story. So I think we want to help you to condense and compel it because you have all of the elements. Everything is there.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you think, Randall? What was?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that you can add into a pitch. One of those is drama. Mm-hmm. That gets people to pay a little bit more attention because you create an emotional tug from that drama, and begins with, if it's something more personal to you, then that drama is even more powerful. That same thing with a character in a movie. So having that and starting off with something like that, where your story connects into something that has that emotional tug of drama to it. Drama and trauma is what creates beginning of a character identification. So bringing that idea to a pitch is really powerful for people, especially if you make it personal. And then, but I would say, have well-rehearsed lines as far as what that drama part is, and then build your transition, and then build your story close. I wanted to hear the end of your story close. You just needed to get there just slightly faster. So because once you create that, I want to hear the end of the story, and then you just took a little bit more time than what you were given. And I'll tell you, there are some producers that, no matter what the timer is, as far as you have a minute or whatever, they'll let you go a little longer, and some producers will cut you off. So you have to be aware that some people are, that's it. Some people will give you a little bit more time, but be very, if they give you a little bit more time, then you want to be very concise and and thank them that they gave you a little bit more time.
Terrific. Thank you so much. That's great.
Thank you, Meg. Love your story. Love the company. Oh, and the other quick thing that I would do too is always think about, and this is again connecting it back to business development. So just on these calls, we have anywhere from 30 to 50 people. They're expanding, they're compressing. So you have an audience here of people that potentially, you guys could connect and be potential clients. So think about that too, and even having somebody in the chat, like while you're talking about it, dropping the link. So when you think about business development and publicity opportunities and all of that, it's different with earned media. So with earned media, it's often working with the producer, but making sure again that, and that's what we'll go through in the course that you're already enrolled in, is we'll give you some of the techniques. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, but some of the specific workshops to, make sure that you are getting the right information out so that people that are hearing what you're saying and they're really connecting to it, that they then know how to follow up with you quickly and that you're capturing them with a really strong call to action. So that's another thing. It's not so much pitching yourself to get yourself the feature, but then again, how do you strategically connect that to your business development?
Tremendous. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next? Who do we have? Donna, are you? Hi, Donna.
Hi. Hi, Mary. Hi, Randall.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming and for sharing so generously with us. I was really touched by what you called your spiritual awakening, and it must have been very interesting for you to do those the 2-day event with Eckhart Tolle. And I'm a business strategist and mentor and an intuitive, and what I feel the future of entrepreneurship really is the merging of spiritual practices with business practices into a very holistic view of how we move through the world. And I would love to share this conversation and this idea with Cheryl Esposito in Leading Conversations and with Rebecca Hall-Greiter in Empowering Women and Transforming Lives, because as the Dalai Lama says, the Western woman will save the world. Thank you so much. And sorry for the Italian pronunciation. I live in Italy, so I have the Italian pronunciation for everything and not the American one.
That's perfectly fine. Where you live, I told you that Milano's one of my favorite
Yes,
places.
and thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. And I realized that I hadn't updated my profile in like 10 years or something. So thank you for that too.
Yeah. I love the way that you spoke, Donna. You really spoke with a very relaxed confidence, and there's even, I would say, there's an elegance to your voice. You have a very good tone. So I think that counts in your favor. It shows that to get that tone in your voice, it comes from that confidence and believing in yourself. And that really comes through very naturally for you. That's an asset that you have that I can hear.
Thank you.
And you spoke very concisely about what your passion is, and then you had a couple of hosts that would be a good fit. You knew who those people were and their shows, and so I think that was a very well done pitch.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And yeah, I can tell you've done broadcasting, you've been on air, so I think that comes through, like Randall said, in your delivery and in your pitch. And I think doing making the connection beforehand so that you're already sort of in Randall's network, and then like we talked about before, it's that warm connection. I think that's all
about connections.
Which is the nice part, really. Like everybody's afraid of them, but that's actually the nicest part of just being in the world, really, is connections with people, right?
Well, this is I'll add something in here. I'll say, my inspirational mentor is actually one of my former clients, Dr. John DeMartini. He was one of the guys in The Secret movie. And John, part of what John teaches, one of his things is when you meet someone or you connect with someone, don't put them on the pedestal and don't put yourself in the pit. There's none of this going on, okay? So when you meet someone, you bring everything who you are, and you're just as important as that person. The same thing when John met Wayne Dyer for the first time. He came in that way, and Wayne immediately connected with him and felt comfortable talking to him because he spoke with him eye to eye. He didn't put people above him or below him. That's even people in the entertainment business. It doesn't matter who you meet. You come off with that relaxed confidence. I remember years ago when I met Olivia de Havilland, and she's wow, classic film actress. And I had so much respect for her and admiration.
Yeah.
She was so nice because the way I approached her, I greeted her by using her last name and looked her right in the eye, and she was very, very friendly toward me. So never put people up here or down here, and never put yourself up here or down here either. When you talk with, I do this and I do it, people don't like that, or you're just kind of, and shy, and you just meet them straight and you be very direct with them, And most people that you meet that way, because, you know, celebrities were once nobodies at one time. Everyone started somewhere.
Absolutely.
So if you acknowledge that and you kind of see that in the person and knowing their story and knowing that everyone started and everyone was just, you know, a person from a small town or whatever, or whoever, it's just when you look at people that way, and I would say one of the best things to do, either speaking with anyone, meeting someone in a business fashion, or just meeting someone who's a friend. When I sat with John DeMartini for the first time, he's the kind of person that no matter what's going on around him, he could be getting up to speak in 5 minutes. When he talks to you, you feel that you're the only person that matters to him. There's this connection going on, and he's totally focused on speaking to you, and he's completely present speaking with you. And that could last a minute, and then he's on stage. But be that way with people, no matter who you meet, because that connection and that vibration that you're offering them of respect and love and admiration, they feel that. We all connect through our fields, and that's one of the things I learned from my spiritual teachings. That helped me in business tremendously.
Absolutely.
But also watch their eyes, watch their body language. Kind of you do that intuitively and kind of behind the scenes. Because people will, if they're not interested in talking to you, they'll do something or they'll look over here or whatever. And then you're done and say thank you and you're gone.
Yeah, he's a great teacher.
He's an amazing teacher. It's just like
to come. Because we knew we wouldn't be able to get through all of his brilliance just in talking to him over the last week.
I know. It's like he has to come back.
I invited him back, and I think he said yes. We'll have to work out the details, because I invited him to actually do a little mini something in the VIP.
Oh, amazing! That'd be wonderful.
Down the line. So this summer, we're actually, for those of you who do join up, you'll have more opportunities.
I'm happy to come back.
Yay! So that's exciting. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great job. I want to try and get through everyone, and we're running out of time. So who do we have left to go? Pam, I know you haven't gone yet. Okay, and then Yuri, we'll get to you. We're letting all the folks hi, Tora wants the folks that are already enrolled. And if you guys are wanting to enroll, the link, Chad, maybe you can put the link again. The link to enroll in VIP is there. We're letting everyone who's already enrolled go first, so that's why we're doing that. We're not just trying to be mean, but they are already in the program, but then we want to offer opportunities to everyone as well. So let's see, I think Pam was going to go next, and she had unmuted herself, but I see, oh, maybe I have to do it. There we go. Pam, how are you today?
Hi, good, Mary. How are you?
Great, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Randall. How are you?
Great.
Good. Thank you for being here. First of all, I wanted to start off by saying that I really resonated with your mission of that you want to leverage the media to make a positive change in people's lives. And it's something that I really want to do as well. A show that really resonated with me was Ross Ramin's The Power to Create Yourself. And the reason that it really resonated with me, because I have a purpose to help people discover who they are and what they stand for and what they were put on this earth to do, because I went through a major identity crisis and followed the dreams of my parents instead of my own goals, and went through anxiety and depression, and finally was able to uncover who I am. So I want to help others do the same.
Hey, it's right on the time too.
Yeah. Right on the money.
All right, and we'll keep our feedback short. I think I've given you. I don't have any different feedback from last week. But Randall, what would you say to Pam? I liked that you picked out the specific show, and I also like the emotional connection. But I've shared that with you. That you share with me.
Yeah, I thought you told a good story. I got the connection of why you got started and what your transition was into what you're doing now. That you started to become more independent and thinking independently, breaking away from your family, because sometimes family has restrictions, but sometimes family is also inspirational. But so I like that you were able to express that transition, which probably was very emotional for you, with a lot of confidence, and you did it in a very direct manner, which was good. So that tells me, as when you get on the show and you tell your story, that you'll be able to speak about it eloquently. So that also, that I heard that in your story. And you didn't make it a big flourish or drama at the end. You just kind of very simply got to the end of the story and close it, and you didn't add any flair, because that extra flair wasn't necessary in the way that you were telling it. So that also spoke to me of that you just came to the conclusion and you did it, and also you were right on the clock. So you had thought about how you would say it, and you hit the time. So that was very good.
Thank you.
I like it. Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you, Pam. Yeah, thank you, Pam. Thank you, Randall. And remember, you guys can also be following up, on email with your pitches, and that's a good idea. Tora, do you want to go next? There we go. Hi, Tora.
Hi, how are you?
Great, good to see you.
Hi, Dora.
Hi, Randall. So nice to meet you. Thank you for this opportunity. I love what you say on your bio about the power of change lives in positive ways, and how that it all starts with an idea or a story. I was 15 when I literally escaped in the middle of the night. I was raised Amish. And I remember when I was a little kid, when I saw your bio, when I was a little kid, I was on the school bus, on the bus ride home, listening to Paul Harvey, and he'd always end his show with the rest of the story. And I was a little kid who was bullied on the playground. I thought, that's how I can get people to listen to me. I'm going to write a book and tell my story when I grow up. And so I did that last month, finally. I released my memoir. And now my goal is to collect 100 stories of trauma, and specifically sexual assault stories, within a year. I'm way over.
Okay. All right. Well, you started. You just started to get into what your story is, and you got enough in there. So you spent a little bit time making a personal connection, which is also good. Something that I would know. Obviously, Paul Harvey is very well known. So what I got out of that is you grew up in Amish country. You had kind of very emotional time breaking away from that environment, and that compelled you to be able to want to talk to other people and tell your own story and highlight people who are going through very highly traumatic experiences in their lives. I got all that. You'd think I wasn't listening, because I'm listening, and I got all that. So even though the timer went off, I heard all that, and I could here's another quick point, allow people to be able to complete the story for themselves. So get enough in there where they can understand what the end of that story is. And you gave, even though the clock went off, I got enough of your story where I could understand why that you would be a good interview.
And I think you did a great job, Tora, but knowing your story, so guys, just for background, like if you go to my Huffington Post page, I wrote an article about Tora last year because I was so inspired by her and her story of survival. She actually was raped repeatedly as a young child in an Amish community, and her story is it was so painful. I mean, I'm so amazed by Tora. I'm inspired by her all the time because the way that she shows up to just help that community and help women and empower women by sharing her story and what she has survived is just, it's unspeakable, really. And so I was really amazed, even just in interviewing her. Like we talked a lot when we were going through that. It was, for both of us, emotionally, even to just write the story, it was like we were missing. It took a while because it was just like, it was difficult. So I think though, using that emotion and starting up front, even with more of the disruption. I mean, I loved your opening, but I think you have such a jarring, emotionally disturbed, you have so much you could pull from there that would just make somebody be like, oh my gosh, yes, like I need to have you on, you need to go on the Today Show and tell this story, right? So, but I think it also is, it charges a lot out of you emotionally. So you also have to make that, for a lot of you that have those emotional stories, you have to decide how much emotional equity you want to, put down on which opportunities. But I think that that's something too, just to be conscious of and aware of, that, you do have so much disruption in your story that you can lead with, I think, a very disruptive approach to really get someone's attention in a way that would really just like open up a lot of additional doors for you.
Yeah, condensing the beginning, middle, and an end to have an opening line, which is very powerful, and then quickly get through the middle of the story and then come to an ending. So that's the kind of thing that as you pitch, you want to construct that in your own mind by being very concise about a line here, a line there. When Meg Donahue was on, she started off with telling about her mother and that connection. So that immediately pulled somebody in, but she didn't. She very quickly got to what that transition was that motivated her, and then what the actions were that she took because of that drama in her life. So you did that. You just need to do it a little bit more concise.
Yeah, and I also have statistics to throw in that need to get in there.
Yeah.
And another line that I really want included that just didn't make it, that would land, I think like be a good impact for a pitch.
Yeah, facts and figures are good, and you can sometimes either insert those in the opening or in the middle. But when you do a pitch and you're speaking to a producer, it's facts and figures are, gee, that's interesting. Who are you? So it's good to add those if you have a longer period of time to tell your story. But if you're doing a less than a 1 minute pitch, I would not use facts and figures. They want to hear about you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, great job. All right, so we are going to move right along with it. I'm not sure if Jody is wanting to go. Jody, you can let me know in the chat if you would like to go. And so I think that we've gotten through most of our students. Did I miss any of our 10-week students who were wanting to go? If so, please put it in the chat, because I certainly don't want to skip over you. And then we can just, we want to give everyone a chance. Yuri, I know you've been waiting, and Sarah, and Marjorie. If you guys want to just raise your hands and let me know who wants to go next, we can, okay, Yuri, let's see, you're on.
Hi, Randy. Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate this opportunity. You know, when you put your story briefly, something jumped out at me, the fact that you...
Can't hear me.
Hello?
Yeah, you need to be a little louder.
Is this better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I just wanted to thank you for being on and for giving us so many insights. Really appreciate that. When you were telling your story briefly, what jumped out at me was that it took you 3 careers, if I believe you said, to find the right opportunity, which you really created. You didn't find it, even though it was down the street. Well, for myself, being a millennial, it took me 5 careers. And I came back to really combining all the things that I've done, which include neuroscience, law, finance, health tech startups, and coaching, which I've done coaching all my life, but I never thought much of it. And for the last year, I've built an executive coaching business specifically for mid-career millennials. You know, people coming out of banks and large corporations that are looking to do something they're really connected to. They're uncovering, after many years, what is their life mission. And those are the people that I help. And of course, Career Confidant would be the show that is of most interest here.
So I think, Yuri, that's great. And this is our first time connecting. Let me ask you, have you gone through the 5 days course yet, or the any of the other trainings, kind of the free trainings that we've offered?
Yeah, I've gone through most of them. It was a little bit quick, but I certainly appreciate all the material you put in there, Mary. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, so you went through the 5 days course, or which one did you go through? Okay.
Yeah,
so I love that you picked, a specific show. I think that, one thing that you might want to do is sort of up front, and this is one of the things we've been working on we went through a series of the first 2 weeks that we ran the 5 Day Challenge. We did it live, and we really kind of coached people through how to develop their pitch, develop their story, and really define what's unique about you. So, there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of millennials out there, and so how do you stand out? How do you really share your message and explain what you do differently? And I think for me in your pitch, what I would have liked to have heard kind of in the beginning would have been more on what is disruptive about you? What makes what you do different than all of the sea of all of the other people who are kind of in that space doing that? So that's really, I think, that the first part is like figuring out what's your disruptive idea. And oftentimes that's where in the discussions we have in the VIP group, it's often very simple. Like for Pam, it's that, for her, visual branding isn't just about the brand, or branding isn't just about the visuals. It's about having an authentic leadership philosophy and making sure that, your organization has a message and a core belief and a purpose that resonates. And so it doesn't matter if your fonts and your colors are all aligned, if your message isn't aligned, right? So for her, that's sort of the disruptive idea that she can then, that's for specialty publications ranging from organizational behavior all the way to people that range from graphic marketing. She has opportunities for earned media in those spaces. So it's understanding what is your disruptive idea, and then really, making your pitch build around that. But I'd love to hear from Randall how he, based on what you pitched him, where he would like to see you improve or have, thoughts on what you pitched.
Well, I think you covered it, Mary, pretty well. I think starting off with the idea, the disruptive idea, is probably more that tells me what makes you different, Yuri. what helps you, even though you're a millennial, a mid-career coach for millennials, it's okay, I got that, but what is it about your coaching technique or the way that you approach it? Gives me something personal about you that make me want to choose you over somebody else. And I think that would help you also in terms of your business, and also what you could put on your website and even create in videos, knowing what that is. It's one of the things that people pitch me on shows for Voice America. It's kind of, I hear what they say, and they say it in a way that's, they try to convince me of something that they don't really believe in. So I'd be very careful about when you create or when you choose whatever that unique value proposition is that you have, that it has to be something that you embody completely on all levels of your being, or else it won't come across to people either in your marketing pitch or your work.
That's fair. Thank you very much for the feedback.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Yuri. Appreciate you, getting out there and coming on. All right. And, we have Kina, we have Sarah, we have Marceline. Hi. All right. So let's see. Kina, do you want to go next? And then maybe we'll have Marceline and Sarah on deck. Is that good?
Fine.
Okay, let's go. We'll
go. So hey guys, I am Kenya Kelly. I'm the strategic brand advisor of If You Brand It. Very new to all of this, but I want to share my story of how I was able to overcome infidelity in my marriage, divorce, homelessness after only being married for like 8 months. And I was making, I think, about $22,500 a year. And instead of wallowing and just kind of like being distraught about the whole scenario, 12 months later, earning 6 figures, moving to Texas and starting 2 different companies, I want to be able to speak to women about how you, and people, about how you can go through a traumatic situation, but come out on top without shaming your spouse, without dying to yourself, just by sheer perseverance and determination.
Nice. I liked it. It's funny, at the beginning I was thinking, oh, you should have infidelity. You should have led with something shocking about that. But you were able to get through everything in a very concise way. So you took me through a flavor of enough of your story that I'm interested. I want to know more. The one thing I would say, though, from just the PR perspective, is the piece of it that's missing that you would want to work on, and that I think in the course we could help you to just refine, is how do you connect that? So one of the things that I really specialize in working with people to do is to fuse their personal and their professional brand. So your story really resonated with me on a personal level, and then you talked about what you had done on a professional level, but I didn't feel the synergy of how those two were absolutely fused, so that it made me have confidence in hiring you as a professional. So I think that's where you want to connect your pitch in a way where you're fusing your personal and professional brand, not only to capture someone's attention and get their intrigue, but also to give them the confidence that you have the expertise to take them to the next level with what the services that you're providing, or the story that you're wanting to pitch. Like, for instance, for Randall's show, which of the, how does that, which is a very interesting story, then equate to something that adds value to his audience. But great job. I really like your, again, it's about jumping to the next level. So I think you have defined that story, but I think working with you to help you do those things I mentioned can help you to jump to that next level and do it in a way where you're actually able to not only attract your ideal clients, but then really share your message. Because I think branding is a really, it's a message that on a radio show you could get out there and help other people with. Randall, what do you think?
Okay. Kenya, I liked your energy in terms of how you pitched. You started off, you had a good energy, and we talked about that earlier. Mary made some good points. The only thing I would add to how you tell your story, you were kind of up and down as far as the emotional thread through it. I got what happened to you at the beginning, and then you kind of dropped that and you started talking about what you did in terms of building a business. So I don't know what happened to that emotional thread that I liked at the beginning. It kind of went, where did it go? I needed to carry that through, or at least have a transition to let me know how that motivated you to create a better life for yourself in business. So you need to connect. You have a good beginning, you have a good ending, but where's the middle? That emotional thread is how you create that transition. And that usually can be the most powerful part of your pitch, is what motivated you, what inspired you, how did you overcome to get through that, and then come out at the end, and the end of the story usually is maybe a line or two. So you need to create more in the middle, and I think, Mary, what you're teaching in your course is a lot about what the middle is, so that's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad to have you here. All right, we'll go right along. Marjolaine, I think you were next, and then Sarah. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Randall, it's an honor. Am I on?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. All right. It's an honor to meet you, Randall. I love your message that media can change life in positive ways. It's a great approach and much needed in this time of negative overexposure. I am a garden historian specialized in vegetable gardens, and I have a personal mission to transform every piece of land into a vegetable plot. I think that food should be accessible to everyone. I love the radio show from Lisa Lawton, busy, stressed, and food obsessed. Her story on how she collapsed at age 31 and then redefined herself hits home to me. Gardening is scientifically proven to be stress reducing. Caring for crops helped me overcome my burnout, and sharing that message alone could help so many others who feel the overwhelm of daily life. I would really love to pay it forward. So that's it.
Okay. All right. So I'm just making some notes here. I get the spelling of your name. You're okay. Marjolaine. Okay.
Marjolaine, yeah.
Marjolaine. Okay.
Love that name.
Marjolaine. It's a very, very pretty name. Very unusual name.
Thank you.
So it's funny. You look like what you do, which is really, I don't know how to convey that in the right way, but
thank you.
You work a lot with the natural world and the gardening. And probably people that I've known before, you look like some of them, like my friend Ingrid, who lives in Virginia. But this idea of, you said something about being a garden historian. So that kind of, like, what is that? That's really interesting. I never heard somebody put those two words together before. So that got my attention. And then you talked to me about your passion, about what that meant for you. But the good thing, I think, in your pitch is that when you talk about the show about Lisa, is that what she talks about, and then you connected yourself to the show where you said, that's home to me. So I really got that that's a strong connection, and you made that verbally. So in my mind, that already attached my thinking to you, going into the emotion that you expressed an emotional connection with that program. So that's a really good technique in terms of pitching, that you connect your story into the show that you're pitching. So that was a really strong point of your pitch that I liked a lot.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yeah, and I love that too. You took the time to research the show. You stayed within the time, and I think you are really connected to your passion and your story. I think the piece of it, I think, and this is again where it's changing. It's not just getting media mentions. It's understanding how to get the media mentions and connect those with the things that will make a difference to your business development. So that's where I think, if you decided to enroll in the course I'm going to get into talking about some of the workshops that we have specifically for that. But I think that's the difference between just, getting media mentions and getting your story out there, but then doing it in a way where you're actually powering your business growth and understanding the opportunities there. But thank you for joining us. I'm so glad that you've been so, and thank you for being so active. You've been a great, amazing part of the community, and I appreciate your just activity and getting out there. So wonderful. And then Sarah, I think Sarah is our final pitch for the day before we wrap up. And I have the Haro announcement. I announced it to you guys in the Facebook community, but some exciting stuff for you guys. But Sarah, would love to hear your pitch if you're ready to go. I can't, you're still, let's see, let me unmute you. There we go.
I don't know.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I can't see myself. Do I need to? Okay.
Yep, we can see you. We can see you and
oh, okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I used to be really shy as a kid and really kind of closed in on myself. And one thing I really always wanted to do was be an actress, or to be, somebody that got seen, or a singer or something like that. And so when I got older, I ended up studying acting and theater. And I've learned through the years to become more expressive and to express the thoughts that I usually used to think were, nobody would want to hear about. And so I come up with a program that has to do with teaching people how to express those thoughts that are within themselves, to be natural on TV, to be natural with whatever they're doing. And that's my pitch for right now. I don't really have a whole pitch, and that's my time. Thank you.
All right, so Sarah, I want you to come into the VIP circle. We met, Sarah and I spoke at the National Association of Women's Business Owners event a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And Sarah and I connected there after I spoke. And so Sarah, I would love you to come into the VIP circle because yes, like I would love to help you with, just perfecting that pitch. I think, there's a lot that you talk about with posture and with, the science behind how you help people that I think you need to just sort of condense and then put into a much more, and also providing your credentials, your expertise, and then kind of just like putting it into a very scientific, but then short, condensed, compelling segment. And then also explaining to people, like connecting to the pain points that are specifically possibly adverse to them. And then I think, again, then the second half of that. So I think part of it for you is going to be, figuring out how to really package your story and then understanding how to sort of do that in a way where it helps you to achieve your goals. Yeah. So a lot of what I do has to do with strain. And I forgot to mention that a lot of that's one of my main selling points is helping people to just be more natural, be more themselves on TV or whatever, especially like public speaking too. Gosh, my brain is just not letting the words come out right all of a sudden. I think it takes practice, doesn't it? Yes. And I think going on camera. Randall, any final thoughts before we jump back?
I think, Mary, you brought up a lot of good points in terms of constructing her story, tightening up her pitch. A lot of things that we've covered on this event so far. So I think, Sarah, you have a lot to offer, but I think working with the PR influencer group is going to help you kind of, as Mary said, tighten up that story. And because I get a sense that you have a lot to offer, at the same time, although you teach people how to do that, the best way to teach anybody anything is to learn it yourself first and learn it really well. Then people give you that respect and you have that confidence where you can offer that. So I think a part of that comes to do with your just feeling relaxed and being focused. And I was watching as you're pitching me, even though I'm looking at the screen over here, I could see your eye line is all over the place. So when you look at someone, you want to look at someone and you want to do your pitch right there. You don't want to fluctuate, because when you do that and you connect with people feel that you only you're seeing them, you're hearing them, you're making that direct connection to them, and you're focused on it. So although you teach body language, I'm not seeing that you're understanding how to do it yourself. So learn to do it yourself and you'll be much better at teaching other people how to do it. And when you learn that, once you're more confident, your appearance comes off that way, then you'll be able to charge more money because you're better at it. And that's something that you can offer that.
Yeah. That's a great point. And I think that thank you, Randall, and thank you, Sarah, so much, and all of you guys who have been, just so wonderful to kind of share your stories. That sort of bridges. Can everyone see my screen here with some of these advanced tactics that we have listed?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, that's really the difference between, it's not just about media mentions, but then kind of going beyond that to really understand what you need to do. Randall, I think, has been so generous with his knowledge today to share. We really tried to just give you guys a taste of it because there really is so much. And so, understanding how to not only get media mentions, but really get media mentions that convert is, it's a lot of advanced tactics that I think as we go through the 10 weeks course, for those of you that are in the VIP, you guys are really going to have an opportunity to help us define what we teach beyond what we've even already identified, because we're using this course just sort of as a way to gather gather information. And Shaw, if you will do me a favor and mute everybody else's lines for us, if you guys want to go ahead and mute yourself if you're not on. I think there's somebody maybe with some background stuff.
Me too.
Got it. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and let you guys really weigh in. Those that are in the VIP circle, we already created a poll, and so based on the poll that you guys already provided to us, some of the things we've added, what we've done is each week, we have these weekly pre-course publicity Q&A sessions. And so each week we are going to go over and have a theme, and then I'm just going to answer your questions and help you solve your problems. We'll give you templates. I'm working now on that Huffington Post story on the 100 top rising popular podcasts that accept new guests. And so I've already posted the draft of that story in the circle for anyone who enrolled in the course. So you guys can start getting an early head start on reaching out to those producers as we finalize that story with my editors. And for those in the course, I think all of you in the course have already gotten media mentions. So this isn't just a notional course about theory. It really is experiential learning where you have us by your side. These are after the first Tuesday call that we had, the VIP call, these are the ones that we've identified so far. And so the nice thing for those of you guys in the VIP circle is you'll get an opportunity to help just define what other opportunities we give you guys that are in the VIP circle, because eventually when it does break out into subscription models and when we kind of decide how for the next year we organize the calendar and what we offer, we'll never offer it again at this price. This was just, again, sort of a disruptive publicity stunt that's been really effective to help us scale quickly and help a lot of people, which is also what for me is really important. I really wanted to be able to help small business owners, help entrepreneurs, because my first small business, I think, was when I was 9. I had a pet sitting business and then a, you name it, Slurpee machine business. And I used to sell gift wrap for my cheerleading costumes. And I was always on some entrepreneurial hustle from like literally the time I was 9. So I really believe in, empowering small business owners to be able to tell their story and tell it effectively. And so what we've done is we've added a bonus workshop because everyone is, if you watch Haro this week, you will see one of the women called me out in the group. She's like, I love that you're hacking Haro. Teach me. She's like, she's a PR pro. So a lot of what I do, a lot of what I teach, a lot of who I teach is for PR pros, but we actually are going to be making a workshop that teaches you how to hack Haro. And Carmen, I will say no, if your list is really small, then absolutely you need a course like this, because this is the type of course, we're literally for the VIPs giving away $15,000 worth of PR services. And like I said, it's so much that I don't put it on the marketing material because it seems unrealistic. But if you look at the reviews, all of the people like Jemiah, Donna, the people that are in the course that bought the course and paid for the course at the VIP price, I didn't know them before. So them, I'm honored by their reviews and by the success that they've had. And I will tell you, I was nervous because this is a new concept and it relies on you guys being able to show up and do the work. So I will tell you that it was Easter weekend, I think, was the night before the 5 days course launched. And I was just like tremendously nervous because I was like, well, what if people, and that's why we over delivered. That's why 5 days was like this course that now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, we could have probably charged like at least $600, like doing more target research for it. But because it wasn't yet, we hadn't yet put it in the hands of the people and seen how people would activate with it, we didn't want to charge for it. We just wanted to give it away and really be disruptive with that. But with 10 weeks, it was more intentional. We knew people would get really amazing results. We knew what we could deliver. And so what we've done is for anyone who joins during this call, this will be a bonus that we will add at a cost later on. So you will still be able to get in on this because this is a case study that everybody wants to know. It's like, how are we hacking Haro? Haro goes out to millions of people. We've used Haro strategically to grow our list like it's on fire. And so it not only, it's a multitude of things that you can do if you understand how to effectively use this tool, not only for business development, but then also to attract earned media. And then also it's 3-pronged because the other piece that I use it for is to help me in my content development. So one of the best ways that you can power up a story is by doing a roundup story and getting experts to weigh in from a variety of different fields. That does 2 or 3 things for you. One, it makes it so that I don't have to write all of the content myself, but then it also makes it so that I have 50 or 100 people who, if I'm quoting in a roundup story, have their own huge followings and lists, and then they repurpose the content that I share, and they have a vested interest to do so, and share it across all of their channels. And so that's just a sneak peek, but I go into the very specific, the case study for what we've done and how we've just strategically hacked our own growth for PR influencers, because it is a very different client avatar than it is on our one-on-one side. So, when you're looking at the size of your list, Karen, and what we're teaching you, that is very much, why PR and publicity can be one of the best things in the beginning to help you scale. But again, no matter what size your list is, if you're an entrepreneur, you want it to be bigger. So publicity can really help you with that and help you be successful. So I think Cha had shared the link to the sales page already. You guys have that. We'll have the next VIP workshop on Tuesday. We really, the full price of this course, the 10 Weeks to Media Mentions, without even all of this extra stuff, is $2,997. So for those that go into the VIP circle today, you're getting it for a $2,000 discount. And then we also, because of publicity, and this will be part of the How to Hack Haro story, because of publicity, we were able to coordinate with an amazing company called Brandfolder. Brandfolder was excited to be part of this. They're one of our partners. They're offering $1,600 value online digital media kit, Brandfolder. They're the ones that they represent Virgin America, they represent JetBlue, and when they offered it, I said, okay, but you're going to give it to them the white label full premium version for a full year with no credit card required. So when you sign up into the course, essentially you're getting, and they even, when we were figuring out like the marketing and doing joint webinars and talking about it, even their marketing director to me said at first, she was like, oh, well, but if we tell people that, they would just sign up for this just to circumvent paying for a Brandfolder. And I said, oh, you're right. Maybe we shouldn't advertise it to your list because you guys are being so generous, to invest in this launch that I don't want that to like be a bad thing then for your company. And they came around and they said, no, we really want to invest in this community. They talked and they came back and said, no, we're just going to let everybody know that this is what we're doing. We believe in investing in the small business owner, and we think that they'll see the value, and this will be something that will help them to power up and build their business. So you guys get, even on top of the course, you get an asset that you would have to pay $1,600 for as a business owner, which I can't tell you how tremendous it is. I love, if you just Google Brandfolder Mary Sims, or if you even just Google Mary Sims Public Relations Agency, one of the things they do is they handle the SEO. And so it makes everything much more returnable in your Google results. It helps with your SEO without you having to really do anything. So this is the information. I would love if any of you guys have questions to answer any of your questions, but really just so grateful to all of you for showing up, for your time. I know we've gone a little bit long today, so that's really all that I have. But I think, what this course is all about is taking action. We give you the skills that you need to really just take action and have outcomes that you will be amazed with. Because I've been amazed, I will tell you, by all of you guys and just what you've been able to accomplish. Because again, it's not, I'm not doing the work for you. When it's my publicity campaign, I can control exactly, what I'm doing. But we're helping you guys, and you guys are doing it and taking the action. And I've just been so inspired by all of you action takers already. And can't wait to see, what else comes of it. But thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much to Randall for joining us today. I really just am so inspired by all of you guys, and yeah, what you've accomplished. And I know Randall, I'm impressed too by Randall, because I know when he's looking to the side, he's actually looking at us, but I'm impressed with his, right. He's a radio guy. He's not even an on-camera guy. And I'm impressed with his ability to just like,
the screen is over here.
Yeah, to do that. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for joining. And I hope you all have a beautiful Mother's Day. Those of you that are mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Load all your mothers out there.
Awesome, guys. Well, have a great weekend. Thanks again for joining us today. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks so much.